and up. Here we go. Woohoo! Ready to roll on our Tuesday morning. And everybody's jumping in here. So many familiar faces. Hi, Eric. How you doing? It's a great day. Brenna, hi. Awesome. Good to see you. You see, we've got Sheila jumping in here. Where'd she go? I'm gonna make her a co-host. She doesn't know it, but I'm making her co-host. That way she can run some of that behind the scenes if I fall behind. We always have Sheila there. All right, thank you. All right. Great to see everybody. Wow, look at this. We have Dana, April. I haven't seen April in a while. Great to see everybody. Oh my gosh, Rob. I haven't seen
Rob
in a while.
Hey guys, I know.
Awesome. How are you doing? Are you doing good, Rob? Are you surviving the snow in Utah?
Yes, unreal. We got snow last night. I mean, spring has not sprung. It's amazing.
Wow. Wow.
How's sunny California?
Not so sunny.
Oh,
yeah,
it's raining.
It is. Oh my gosh. It has, look at Eric. Look at Eric showing us a nice little screenshot right there. Hi, Jan. Awesome. Nita, where are you located?
I'm in Memphis, and it is raining. It's raining here.
All right. So did anybody get out and fly right now? Because our weather has been quite wacky. Oh, we've got a whole bunch of no's. Not a lot of flying going on. So what was it we said last week? We're flying the desk. That's what we're doing. We're all flying the desk. Okay. Parker, I know you're logging in there. It's good to see you too, even though I don't actually see you. But being New Mexico, are you able to get out and fly? Love to hear from you. I see you're still logging in though. It's okay. All right. We got JJ jumping in here. So good to see everybody. Hi, Stephen. Stephen Graves is here too. All right. So I'm going to kick this off with, does anybody have a great drone? Hi, and Stephen says, glad to be here. Put it in the chat. Oh my gosh, sunny and 50. We're jealous. Right? Awesome. Awesome. So if anybody has a great drone story, this is a great time. Hey, hi, Felicity. How are you doing? Anybody have a great drone story? Not a lot of flying right now, but some people might have been lucky. No. Okay. I was just telling Stuart that I did finally get to squeak in a job on Sunday, right before the rain came, but I managed to pull it off. So, all right, we even have Carolyn White jumping in here, and she doesn't get to join us as much anymore. Oh, all right, while we're letting people in, and if Sheila can maybe help out with that on the backside, that would be great. I do have a couple of announcements that I do want to share, all right? We have some exciting stuff happening. So I am going to do a little copy paste here. Guess what's coming in Austin, Texas? Oh, I'm super excited. We have a drone flight training coming to Austin, Texas, April 15th. Oh, it's something that I've been waiting for a long time. So I'm super excited. I'm going to put the information into our chat right quick like for us. And I also have another thing that I want to share with everybody, and I'm going to put this in our chat as well. So first of all, who's going to AUVSI? Let's see. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Oh, Randy, the drone radio show. Awesome. Well, we have a Women in Drones member. Her name is Tony Drummond. Not sure if you're familiar with her, but she's amazing. And she's with Titan Aviation, and she has an offer for Women in Drones members. You have to be a member. Her firm is sponsoring a ticket to Dawn's Law Tech Connect workshop. This is awesome. The ticket does require that you are there for the all-day session. It's on May 8th. And get this, it also includes a ticket to the AUVSI conference. So I put in the chat, if you're interested in this, message at hello@womenanddrones.com, and more information will be sent out to you. So, oh, I got a lot of information in there already as far as the AUVSI, so that's pretty cool. And we got a few more people jumping in here. I think everybody wants to see you, Stuart.
Hey, Samantha.
I like it. I saw that. Awesome. All right. So I put that information into the chat. And with that, let's segue over to our spotlight speaker, because I know we're excited to hear about this. Everybody wants to talk about getting jobs, right? So we have Stuart Smith. He's with the droning company, and he, like many of us, have that former lifestyle that we were in, and he's a former rock band of Sweet, which produced, and I don't know, maybe you've heard of these songs, but Ballroom Blitz, Fox on the Run, Love is Like Oxygen. He's also got a current band, and that's called Heaven and Earth. Besides that, he's also, this is so cool, he is also with the Special Reserve Police Officer with the Los Angeles PD, and he's working with the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. So we're super excited to hear from Stuart today. Stuart, I'm going to make you spotlight for everyone. Let's kick this off by telling us a little bit more about yourself, because that's pretty cool background that you have there. But tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into drones after that lifestyle.
Right. Okay. Hi, everybody. So yeah, I was basically most of my life I've just been a rock guitarist, traveling the world and doing albums. About 18 years ago, I got involved with the LAPD. I came out of the local supermarket, and I've actually been playing as one of the celebrities in the LAPD celebrity golf tournament to raise money for officers' families killed in the line of duty. And so I got to know a lot of the top brass and everything. And I came out the local supermarket one night, and a couple came out, and big guy and a girl, and two guys ran out after them, and they were basically store security, identified themselves. The girl ran, the guy ran after her, and the big guy just went bang, knocked the security guard to the ground, could have ran and just got on top of him and started hitting him. And so I dropped my bags and ran over and shouted at him, and he got up and slung a punch at me. And I've been doing martial arts since I was 14. I was a secondary black belt. So I did a block on him, put him in a nerve hold, put him on his knees, and then borrowed the guy's cuffs and cuffed him. 2 days later, I get a call from Jim McDonald, who was our deputy chief of police for the LAPD, and said, hey, this police report's come across my desk with your name on it. I said, am I in trouble? He said, no, quite the contrary. We've been watching the surveillance video from the parking lot, and like to know if you'd like to teach our guys some of that stuff you do. So they invited me to be a reserve officer. And I said, what does it entail? He said, well, you go through about 3 months of training in your own time, and then you don't get paid. It's a volunteer thing, and you have to cut your hair. And I said, well, we got a problem there, because that's sort of my image. So anyway, to call me back 2 days later and said, we'd like to make you a specialist reserve, which means you go through the training anyway, you get tasered and pepper sprayed and do all the rest of the training, but you don't wear the uniform. And I said, I'm fine with that. So I worked a few years teaching officers going up for SWAT how to disarm at close quarters and that kind of thing. And then I got invited to join ICAC, which is the Internet Crimes Against Children. So now I'm part of the team that goes around arresting pedophiles, human traffickers, and child molesters, child pornographers, what have you. But anyway, about just over 2 years ago, we brought out our 5th album with my own band, Heaven and Earth. And the press was great. We had a world tour planned, and it all got cancelled due to COVID. And as I'm supporting that most expensive creature in the world, a teenage daughter, I thought I can't just sit around for a year and a half doing nothing. So I've been flying drones for a couple of years, and I enjoyed it. So I thought I'll maybe go as a drone pilot. I looked at these job agencies for drone pilots, and I talked to a lot of pilots, and I was amazed at the amount of commission these drone agencies were taking. I mean, a roofing inspection in California, it goes for a minimum of about $250, and they were paying the pilots $70 to travel 100 miles. And I just thought, you know, this is a very unfair business model. I can do better than this. So we formed the droning company, where pilots can go and create a profile on our page, which has headshots, all their equipment, about them, videos, their service area, photographs, everything you need to know, and their specialities. And then people search that through that to find a pilot that they in their area, and they say, okay, I'd like to hire this pilot, and they just click contact, and they get the pilot's contact info, and they make their own. The pilot makes his own deal. We're not involved. We don't take commissions. So it basically works out, if we get them one job in the entire year, it more than pays for their yearly subscription. So that was the plan, and it just took off like a rocket. So we, along the way, morphed it into a high-end magazine about the drone industry. So we have 2 new articles come out a day, one in product news and one in trending news, just letting people know what's going on in the industry and that kind of thing. So that's how the droning company got started, and we're actually in the process of revamping the site so that we cover every aspect of the drone industry. We'll have everything, separate boxes for everything from power washing drones, LiDAR, drone insurance, which Rob will be happy about. So that's sort of hopefully going to be going live with that in the next 2 weeks.
Awesome. So I did put a link in there to the website into our chat, so everybody can check that out. And so how many years has the droning company actually been rolling out?
Well, we really only got going seriously in February last year. So just over a year. It took a long time to design the site, because it's reasonably complicated, because you've got all the pilots and everything, and the news sections and that. So that's what took the time. But yeah, we're just over a year old.
And there's so much that happens behind the scenes when you're trying to roll something like that out. I know. Yeah. So like you said, the new sections that are coming out, there's a lot that have to be done behind the scenes. So
Oh, yeah.
what has been your most favorite part about the drone industry and getting this rolling?
Well, actually, just meeting the pilots. Every pilot that signs up with us, I always give them a call to thank them for joining us and find out how they heard about us, and generally tell them how they can optimize their profiles to get more work. Because it's all down to your profiles. Some pilots, they don't put a headshot. They just put pilot part 107, and they don't even put locations where sometimes. So they wonder why the guy 5 miles up the road is getting all the work. And I always contact them and send them an article telling them, look, it's down to your profile. Put a headshot there. People like to see who they're doing business with. Put your specialities. That's my favorite part, because I'm learning a lot from talking to the pilots. Just talked to one recently, and he told me that he'd been making a lot of money doing ashes scattering. So he'd got a distribution plate under his drone, and he scatters out. There was a woman whose husband was a police officer that died, and he wanted his ashes scattered over the police station. So she hired him, and basically he just filled the distribution plate with the ashes and flew over the police station and dropped them. And that's like $500 for basically 1 hour's work. They're using the same plates, same distribution systems to do baby reveal parties, where they put either pink or blue confetti in to let them know the sex of a baby. And again, it's $500 for an hour's work. So the industry really is exploding. I mean, but I found out all about that through just talking to pilots, and I learn a lot. That's my favorite part, getting to know all the pilots and that kind of thing.
I think that's part of why I like the coffee connection so much, is that networking, getting to know everyone, seeing what they're out there doing. Like we just have somebody jumping in from South Africa, and so it's super exciting to have everybody networking and coming together in one place. And so does the droning company, if tell us a little bit more as far as like if somebody was actually signing up and wanted to participate in the pilot program, how does that work? And what are some of those tips? You just mentioned the one that was really key about really boosting up your profile. What are some other tips? Like, do you require a reel? Does somebody need to put on some of the footage they've done? Some of the tips that you have for that.
Yeah, well, firstly, they have to be, for us to take them on, they have to be Part 107 certified. Even if they've just got their temporary certificate, they can sign up with us. But all our pilots are Part 107 certified, and we do check that. Excuse me. So basically, pilots go to our page, thedroningcompany.com. They hit join the team, and they say sign up as a profile. You put your credit card in. If you pay for the entire year in advance, which is only $100, then you get a $20 discount. So if you pay up for the entire year, otherwise it's $10 a month. As I say, I always contact the pilots and send them an email telling them how to maximize their profile. Also, there's other things. I mean, it's so important is networking. What I tell pilots is once your profile's up and running, and we also feature one of our pilots on the main page and in our newsletter, which goes out to 12,000 people every Friday. We feature one of our pilots as the featured pilot of the week, and we feature one of the pilots' video reels, so a video reel of the week. So we do ask them to put a video reel up there, at least 1.5 minutes long, at least one. Some people put about 3 or 4, but there's that. And also I urge pilots to go and network. So go to the droning company, and in the search box on the main page, put in your area, and you'll find all the other drone pilots in the area, and reach out to them and say, you're a fellow member of the droning company, because you'll find that the pilots will sometimes need somebody else, like for a visual observer, or they'll have a job that they can't do because they're double booked, and they'll pass it off to you. I also urge pilots to sort of, I found a trend when I first started this, of the pilots that started off with the Mavic 2 Pro doing roofing inspections and real estate, have saved their money and are taking courses in LiDAR, 3D mapping, thermal, and buying the equipment to do that, and getting into jobs where they're getting paid about $2,000 a day. So I even suggest to pilots, do that. Go to someone like Embry-Riddle or Warren County and get certified in the sort of the other aspects of the drone, like thermal and like 3D mapping. And then you don't even need to have the equipment to do it. If you get a job, you can say, if you've trained up in it, you can just rent the equipment for a day or two and do the job. And as I say, obviously these jobs are much more high paying than doing real estate or roofing.
Awesome. So do you have resources on that website for if they needed to do a rental or something along those lines, or just the job connection type of thing?
We're mainly the job connection, but I mean, anyone can put into Google just drone rental, and you'll find that there's plenty of places throughout the country that will rent specialized drones for the work.
Okay. I just put into the chat the blog that you had about finding jobs. Can you tell us a little bit more about that blog? And now you put that a blog out. Very impressive. Every week, you said you put out a blog, and it goes out to everyone, and that's quite a resource of people that it goes out to. But tell us a little bit about the one that you posted regarding finding a job. Yeah, well, that's just an article. The newsletter actually goes out every Friday to everybody, and it has all the articles that we featured during the week, and also our featured pilot of the week, and the featured video reel. But the article basically
explains what I've got. I've firstly just how to get how to sign up for a profile, and then things to network on. There's plenty of sites out there like Women in Drones. There's Drone Connects, which are free to join, and you'll find if you make yourself known on there and put a link to your droning company profile, other pilots will reach out to you if they have if they're double booked and or need a visual observer or another pilot. So networking is, for me, is key, and that's certainly in the article, and that and creating a good profile.
So some of the networking opportunities that are coming up, I know AUVSI. What are some of the ones that you plan to attend?
Well, AUVSI, we're planning to be there. That's the one in Denver, right?
Yes.
And we go every year to the UAV Expo in Vegas. Last year, we started something called the Droning Awards, where we reached out to all our members and said, which we had all the categories like best enterprise drone, best prosumer drone, best consumer drone, best software, and best drone insurance, and that, which I believe Rob won last year. So what we do is we have all our readers vote on this, all our readers for the email and also for the pilots, and we had a great year with that. Everyone really enjoyed getting the awards. We had digital awards, and what we're planning to do at the UAV Expo in September at Caesars is to hire a room separately, because after the convention, everyone's hungry. They need to take their clients out for dinner and everything else. So we're planning to rent a room holding about 1,000 people, and we'll have tables there, which people can purchase tables or separate seats at tables. And so as soon as the convention finishes, everyone can just walk there and into another room at Caesars, and there'll be free drinks and free food. It'll be like a dinner, but it'll be a proper award show where we actually give out physical awards, and then we'll have a band on for some entertainment and everything, so everyone can let their hair down after the show. And it's a lot. I've talked to everyone I've talked to so far. I think this is a great idea, because they generally have to go back to the hotel. They've got all their distributors or clients they have to take out for dinner, and this they can just go and everybody can network with the whole convention.
More networking. There you go. Awesome. And so, as far as I know, you are based in the LA area, but it seems as if the network that you've created is globally, or is it just international?
Yeah, our pilots are all US based, because they have to have a Part 107 to join us. But as far as the readership goes, that is globally, because we cover every aspect of the drone industry.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And so, like I said, we have some people here from South Africa. And so it's great to have an opportunity to reach out to others as well. Yeah. So where do you see the droning company expanding to? How do you see that expansion over time?
Well, I mean, the industry is just expanding so quickly. I mean, it really is in this time of sort of recession. It really is one of the industries that is doing really well. I mean, I've just noticed a huge upswing in the power washing division, because before you'd have I've got a friend who owns a industrial cleaning company, and for cleaning like a huge building, they have to have a cherry picker that goes up really high and everything else, and they have to have a crew to do that. Now you can just buy a drone that can put out 6,000 psi, and you just need one pilot and one observer, and you can clean an entire business building like this. And so there's all these different aspects coming in: drones in agriculture, and the autonomy, drone delivery, and all this. So that's why we're sort of revamping the site to segregate it into, you'll have all these different boxes for every aspect of the industry. Excuse me.
No worries. We just had somebody pop in with power washing idea. Very cool. Love the power washing on the ground. Have to look at the videos of this and see what this entails. So is that something that we would be able to look on your site? So I know on your site you do have the companies that are a part or affiliated with the droning company. Is it something that we would be able to look on the droning company's website and see some of the unique uses of drones?
Oh yeah, if you go to you click on news, and then there's a little search bar there. So anything you're interested in the drone world, you can just put that into the search bar, and we've probably done 2 or 3 articles on it. So power washing. But I mean, there's all these avenues that people can get into. I mean, it's expensive. But I mean, a drone power washing system costs about $45,000. But you can certainly, if you're sort of driven and like-minded, you can certainly get out to power washing companies and go and demonstrate what it can do and be taken on for jobs. And as I say, learning more than just flying the drone. We did an interview last year at the UAV Expo with Brent Kander from Brink Drones. And he said, basically, just learning to fly a drone well has a shelf life, because a lot of it is going to become autonomous. And he said, go out and learn, become expert in things like 3D mapping, LiDAR, thermal, because that's where the future is going to lie. And I personally think he's right. And I'm seeing it with a lot of our drone pilots. They're really, they're taking the trouble. And courses of this are not expensive. You're talking maybe about $160 to take a course in something like 3D mapping. And then obviously the equipment's a bit more expensive than the standard drone, but to get yourself started, you can always rent the equipment and do a few jobs, and then you can afford to buy it. And as I say, we've got pilots that are making $2,000 a day upwards. I mean, you get a gas company that has a leak, and they're desperate for a drone pilot. They'll pay whatever to get that drone pilot there with thermal to spot the leak.
So Olga has a question about, how do you see expansion of the world of drones in other countries and other languages?
Well, I certainly think you're going to have, what's very important is drones in agriculture, especially for countries that maybe having food shortages and everything. Drones are, everything that drones are doing is speeding up the process. It's like the power washing. It takes about a quarter of the time to wash a building, less than that with a drone than it does with having a cherry picker and everything else. And the same with agriculture. You're going to see drones doing things much faster. And you get some people who push back against it, saying, well, the drones are putting me out of a job. But basically, if you're smart enough, you learn how to fly a drone, so you can be part of that. It's a bit like when there's the horse and carriage, and then motor cars came along. Well, people learned to drive them.
And pretty soon they're commonplace, right?
Yeah.
So monitoring the chat, if I'm keeping up with it all right. So do you have a way to run ads for the drone work needed, say in certain areas of delivery or food, or for an example?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Nita had asked about, do you have a way that you run ads for the drone work that is needed? So if somebody's needing delivery of food or something like that. And
yeah, we do run ads on the site. We also have what's called the company directory, where companies can sort of create a profile on there for like $200 a month. and it's like having a mini web page on our site. So you'll find that at the droningcompany.com. On the top left-hand corner, it says company directory, and then companies create a profile there, which they can update themselves with new press releases, new products, and everything else. I'm not sure if that's what Nita meant, but and then people do run ads, and we run our own ads as well to attract people to the droning company, to tell them that if you need a drone pilot, this is where to go to hire it.
All right, Nita, if that isn't what you had in mind, let us know. And it looks like Parker did find a link that he had posted about the power washing. That just seems like the thing right now. Everybody's loving this power washing section that you were sharing in there.
Yeah, you get things that that sort of ebb and flow, and right now the power washing industry is they're just discovering it, that they don't need a crew of 10 people. And if you've got to power wash a building like my friend who power washes the Google building, he'd have to put big boards down so that the cherry pickers, when they rolled over them, didn't sort of mess up the lawn. They've got this huge lawn in front of it. Now they, as I say, and you needed this truck to tow the cherry picker. Now you just turn up with a van and a drone. And as I say, it's so there's always new things that happen. We've got drones that in law enforcement. Brink has just brought out the Lima 2, which is, we did a interview with Blake Resnick recently, and covered the drone, which is just an amazing piece of equipment, and for saving lives. It's rather than put an officer in risk. These drones can do a hell of a lot of the groundwork. And the same goes for anything. I mean, in situations in search and rescue, drones can certainly do not only find people with thermal. That's another aspect of finding work. If you, I always say to the pilots that have taken the trouble to buy a distribution plate for their drone, and that's not expensive. Again, $120, you buy a plate that goes below your drone and will distribute things. But be proactive, print up some business cards, and go. If you see a crematorium or a funeral director, just go and give me a card and say, this is what I do. Because again, drones are very new in this sort of business world that we have at the moment. So if you say you can charge an extra $700 to the add onto the service, if to have the option to have your drones, your ashes scattered by drones, or the funeral filmed by drones, and just pay me $500. So you can. That's certainly another way you can, be proactive and just have some cards printed and do that. The same with the, as I say, you see these trends coming, and then everyone starts to jump on it, and then someone will notice, oh, drones can do this as well. So then that trend will start.
I agree. And I like to think that we need to think outside the box, because there is so many different use cases for drones that we're just starting to see the surface of it. And so, like Carolyn said, she saw an ad where they needed a drone for the funeral procession. And I see a lot of videos being taken of the celebration of life. And so there are several different ways that drones are being used. Zenobia had mentioned that if anybody needed funding for the drones or drone systems, to direct message her. If you remember, she was a guest speaker here not too long ago as well. And then I'm sure I'm going to say the name wrong. I'm sorry, Lebohag. She had mentioned in there, she was they're in South Africa, and they were wondering about what drones are they being used? And I think that circles back to the pressure washing. Do you have any idea what drone is actually being used for that?
Well, the two main companies doing it are Aqualine. So if you go to the droning company and click on news, and then there's a search box on the right that comes up, and you put in Aqualine, AQUILINE, Aqualine, or Lucid. And those are the two main companies that are supplying this. And as I say, there's so many avenues out there. There really is. Also, get in touch. It's being proactive, and what we basically supply with the droning company is a ultra business card, which has now people are going to come and search the droning company and find you, but as I say, I always recommend having business cards, dropping by your local crematorium or funeral home, or you're just traveling and you pass one, just drop it, go in and just say, hey, by the way, if you need someone, I offer this service and it costs $500 for a job. And they're not the sort of people that are going to go looking on the droning company, because they're probably not even aware of it yet. It's only just a fad that's started. Also, reach out to your local sheriff's department, law enforcement, because they will hire civilians for search and rescue, especially if you've got thermal, and it's those. One of the companies we talk to a lot is Dragonfly, and they're one of their drones is in the Smithsonian Museum as credited as the first drone to save a human life, because there was a car accident and a little girl wandered away from the scene in the snow, and they sent up the Dragonfly commander and with thermal, and just in time to get a heat signature from her, and they rescued her. So you'll find that local law enforcement, sheriffs, police will hire, let them know that you're out there, because these things happen fast. Someone's missing and everything, and they need to get someone out there quick. If they've got your card on the wall there, and they're familiar with you, they say, hey, call John. He's got a drone. We need it out there, and they'll hire you.
So circling back to your website and the pilot profiles and such like that. So once somebody has gone to your site, they've set up their pilot profile. I see your cat in the background. That's so cute. That's so perfect for what we got going on here. And so once they've set that up, well, first of all, tell us a little bit about setting up that process. Does it take time once it's out there looking for a job, or does it immediately go, you know what, it's a 50-mile radius from the zip code that you put in? Or how does that process work?
Well, when a pilot sets up his profile, I always say, in the article, I always get in touch with them. As soon as I see someone set up a profile, I give them a call, say hello, and I send them that article on what are you doing?
Celebrity in the background.
I said, oh, where were we? So I send them the article and I say, look, if you're based in Los Angeles and you're prepared to travel 100 miles for a job, put your first location down as Los Angeles, then put San Diego, Santa Barbara, put within, if you're prepared to travel 100-mile radius, put locations in 100-mile radius. Don't just put one, because we work on Google's search engine, Google Maps. So if they put in, say, where their main location and about 10 others, then it's going to be picked up by people looking in those areas as well. Otherwise, it'll still be picked up. They'll be further down the list.
All right. And is this, you had mentioned that there was a fee as far as it's either $10 a month or $120 for the well, $120, but it would be a discount.
Yes, so it's only $10 a month, and which is $120 a year. But if you sign up for the entire year, it's $100. So it's a fair sort of business model, because then if we only get you one job in the entire year, it's more than paid for year's subscription.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. And Olga asked another question in here regarding, do you see young people dedicating themselves to the world of drones?
Yes, I do. I think this is part of the new norm for. It's like we didn't, when we grew up, there wasn't cell phones or anything else, but now kids can operate them like they're jet fighter pilots, you know. So I mean, I gave my daughter a new iPhone, and she was just like just customizing it. I mean, I was going, how do you do that? But you know, they grew up with it. And the same with drones. It's now becoming a career, a very sensible career choice, because as I say, once they've mastered flying a drone, which nowadays isn't hard. It's not like the old drones, the old RC helicopters, where you had to constantly toggle them to keep them in the air. You just basically put the button, the toggle up, and it'll just sit there until you tell it to do something else. So they're not particularly hard to fly now, and a lot of them are becoming autonomous. Like if you have to do 3D mapping of a construction site, or map out a field for a farmer, you can just basically put on the iPad, you just put the parameters of what you want the drone to do, and it'll do it itself while you have a cup of coffee.
But you're always watching that drone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. So when we talk about the future of drones, do you see drone pilots getting a lot of work, or is there a lot of background skill sets that help them to get that work? So in other words, if they have a background in GIS, or if they have a background in power line inspections, utilizing drones as a tool, do you see that as gaining more jobs through your site, or have you found that just the piloting skills and providing the deliverables has been valued?
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a skill that's like power line inspections, or oil and gas, if you've got an industry you're familiar with, you're going to be picked up by those companies that are looking for someone who has a drone pilot but has experience in that. And word spreads very quickly in this business. If a drone pilot's hired and they do a good job, the word gets out and they develop their clientele. It's just as well, I mean, it's going back to the question about young people as well. There's one of them, people we talked to at the UAV Expo last year, who's brought out a book about drones for kids, a kid's book for drones. And I see that, as I say, I see this as an industry where you don't have to go and spend years in college or university to get a doctor's degree or anything. Once you've passed your Part 107, which if you're reasonably sharp, that's easy to do, and then you start taking other courses, and then just taking it to the next level, hiring more drone pilots to do the work once you've built up your reputation.
Awesome. So I'm looking because there was another great question in here, I thought, from Paul. What do you think of commission/credit services like Bark?
I don't like them. I don't like any of these sort of job agencies that take a commission, because it devalues the industry. You get the younger pilots who just keep bidding lower and lower to get the job, and you'll get down to something like $30 to do a job, and they're happy that they've got the job. But what it's done is it's devalued that, because the client doesn't know, he's still paying the $250, but I don't agree with them, and I think this is why we started the droning company, so that we didn't have to take commissions. I think, as I say, it puts the more experienced pilots out of work. And then a lot of these companies are taking pilots that don't have their Part 107, which is leaving the client and the pilot up for the possibility of huge fines, and from a safety angle, causing a serious accident. Where if they don't know what they're doing and flying a drone, they could wander into airspace unless. So I think there's got to be a lot more education of the public as well. If you're hiring a drone pilot, make sure they have their Part 107. Make sure they have drone insurance. I mean, you don't want to be doing a video for a band and the drone flies into someone's face and puts their eye out, and then you're liable for millions. And the person that hired you is liable as well. So having your Part 107, experience, practice flying your drone, know your limitations, as Clint Eastwood would say, and have drone insurance.
Fantastic. Yes, totally agree with that. And not just because Rob is sitting here, but such a valuable takeaway right there is both sides need to be educated. They need to be aware of what are the regulations when you're hiring someone. What are those requirements that are needed? And so looks like we have a lot of great information popping up in there. Stephen put in there the blog about scattering ashes because there was some conversation. Parker had posted about that as also being something that's happening in there. Stephen, man, he's on it today.
Yeah, I know.
Put in there the short plate.
Yeah, that's actually, Stephen, that's how we found out about it. We had a pilot sign up, and as I say, I get chatting to them. I'm learning so much. This is my favorite part of the job. I'm learning so much about the industry just from talking to guys like yourselves, and also every pilot that signs up with us, because I do take that trouble to talk to them. And I said, well, how are you doing this? And he said, well, I purchased something called the stalk plate. Again, like $100 strapped beneath your drone. And he got into ashes scattering and then baby reveal parties. And I know the FAA frowns upon dropping anything from a drone, but I don't think you're going to get arrested if you're dropping confetti. It's not like it can come out and kill somebody, but generally it's a smart idea to just fence off an area and just to comply with the FAA laws, because as well there's always a chance of an accident happening. So if you cover yourself with knowing the FAA laws and that, yeah. So the stalk plate was we did an article on the stalk plate as well, on the droning company.
So obviously a lot of great information in there, super exciting. And you know, when you think about when you're talking about getting jobs, building your career, opening those doors, an investment of $100 for a year is just really awesome to get yourself out there, get your name, like you said, your business card. And so that's fabulous. And I love the articles that you're putting out. I am going to.
Oh, by the way, one of the other things we do is I always urge the pilots to write their story and send it to us. What we call, because we have a section called Pilot Stories that comes out, and if you go into the search engine again, search bar, you'll find, put in Pilot Stories, you'll find some of our pilots have told the story of how they got started in the drone industry, how they got their Part 107, how long they studied for it, and everything else, and what sort of and they're very interesting stories of how everybody got into this. So I always urge our pilots to do that, to write a story on how they got into the drone industry, and we'll be happy to publish it.
Awesome. Do they need to be a member and signed up already?
Yes, because what we do is we use it to link to their profile. So setting up a profile with us takes about 14-15 minutes. But once you've set up, because then with the Pilot Stories, we link that to, and it's really meant to be a bonus for our pilots. But it sends a link to their profile, and of course it gets seen in the article and the newsletter as well.
Does that article need to be a certain length?
1,200 words or more, because that's the magic number that gets picked up by the Google search engines.
Okay, okay. And Zenobia made a mention in here that's a great tip is writing a story is a great idea. Some funders will consider that. So it just kind of all fits together like a puzzle. You know, it's all coming together, and these are just part of the pieces that help you to build your portfolio up. So this is fantastic. Awesome. So I know we actually have kind of gone over a little bit, but one last thing I'd like to do is just ask, what is your recommendation or just a last minute tip of what you would do for a shout out to the people that are attending today? What's a suggestion?
Reach out to us anytime. I'm easy to find. It's just Stuart at the Droning Company, Stuart at thedroningcompany.com. I'm always around to answer any questions anyone has and to help out. And I can send them the article on how to create a good profile. Thanks for listening to everything that we've had to say. And I wish you all luck. It's a great industry we're in, and as I say, it really is exploding.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so you said Stuart at thedroningcompany.com.
Yep.
Okay, I put that into the chat. Actually, I was right on cue right there. So I did put it into the chat for us. And we just can't thank you enough. So exciting and inspiring. It's exciting to think of putting this information out there and gaining those jobs. And yes, we like your visual observer right there. Right? Everybody's got a visual observer, right? Awesome. Stuart, thank you so much. And I look forward to actually seeing you at AUVSI.
Sounds good. Look forward to it.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up for today. I'll hang on here for just a bit if anybody wants to do some conversation, but totally understand if you need to head out. All right. Thank you, Stuart, and we'll see you in May.
Hey, look forward to it.
That kind of wraps it up.